Some beautiful sounds.
The 60s.
Hi, baby.
Clear.
Come here, kiss the baby. Kiss the baby. Good boy. Hello from me and my baby. I have been so excited and just so grateful to share the news of our rainbow baby with you. It's been such a whirlwind. Cover up. He wants to be part of this. It's been such a whirlwind of the past 4+ months, really the past 8+ months. It's just been a very tender time for our family, and I'm just so grateful to be here and really just excited to share all of the details with you. I'm already about to cry. I've cried like 5 times this morning, but again, it's just been such an intimate time and such a transformative time spiritually, physically, mentally. It really just has been a journey. A whirlwind is the best way to put it, I feel like, but we're feeling so grateful and just so in awe of this life and this experience. And I've just always been so grateful for the opportunity to carry life, and it's just been so awe-inspiring, and even that feels like an understatement. So I'm really just so grateful to share this news with you. We're almost halfway through the pregnancy at this point. It has been going by so quickly. I will say the first trimester went by agonizingly slowly, which I'll get a bit more into. I have some first trimester stories. It was difficult, honestly. So I'll dive into that, but I want to stick to all of the happy, just exciting things first and foremost, because again, we have just been so in awe of like our miracle and just the opportunity to be pregnant and grow life. It's just not lost on me how special this is. And I brought tissues. I feel like I've just been so immensely tender, and when I find myself just in a crowded room or at a restaurant or something, I just look around at every single person and I just like want to remind them how special they are and like how much of a miracle it is that they're here, and how many things had to go perfectly right for them to be here. It just amazes me, and I'm really so grateful for this tenderness and for just the transformation I've experienced the past 8+ months. If you're unfamiliar, we had our first pregnancy last summer that ended in loss. So this is our rainbow baby. In this locket that I love to wear a lot, I have a photograph of our baby in heaven and our baby now. It's just so special to me. They're always in my heart. And it, of course, comes with a lot more emotion after experiencing loss and grief. It's just comes with the territory, right? But something that I really just have been clinging on to, and just a dream of mine, has to not let the fear and anxious thoughts take over, because I want this pregnancy and this baby to be so celebrated and just so cherished and so joyful. I want this whole experience to really feel as joyful as possible. So that has been just a big prayer. It's something I constantly have to work on, just spiritually, and making sure to fill my mind with beautiful thoughts. And I definitely have been protecting my peace a lot, like not spending a lot of time online and on social media, so that has been really helpful. But through this journey, that's been a really great growth process, is to really try to turn away anxious thoughts and really just lean on peace and God's promises and hope. So that has been difficult, but really fruitful as well. And I'm just so thankful to feel overall peace and hope. That's just the biggest blessing. And I want to thank you all, because I know so many of you have prayed for our family. I can't even express to you how much that means to me. And the prayers feel so felt, and just so, again, it means just so much to me. There's no other way to put it. So I'm so grateful for you, and feel so excited to share this news with you and to celebrate alongside you. And I really was not planning to cry this whole entire video, but here we are. I feel like the combination of hormones and just, again, the tenderness of this whole experience is just all coming out. And I feel like I'm one of those criers. Once I start crying, it's difficult for me to talk, so I'm gonna try to bring it in a bit. But yeah, I'm just really so grateful for the love and kindness that's been poured out on us. It really has just been so humbling and so inspiring to continue to try to give that to others as well, just so generously. That really has just been such a lesson and such a gift. So I'm very thankful. But let me get into the story of finding out and the timeline a bit. So we actually officially found out we were pregnant on Christmas morning. It was a very special Christmas, of course. So I was a bit late, and I had a feeling we were pregnant, but at that point I just did not want to get my hopes up. So I waited a bit to take the pregnancy test, and Brandon had a feeling as well, but I ended up putting a pregnancy test in his stocking on Christmas morning. So he opened the stocking, and then we took the pregnancy test together, and I just really liked that moment of being able to take it and flip it over together.
I didn't take it yet, but I think we need to.
2 lines if we are pregnant.
Okay. Clear.
And then seeing the positive pregnancy test was just so special. Definitely, again, felt a little bit trepidatious, a tad bit, but just so exciting and just so thankful. And we kept it to just us for a long time, actually, which I wasn't sure I would want to do, because again, I really appreciated the support with our first pregnancy. Everyone was incredible and just so kind, and I've never felt more loved and cared for and like taken care of. But it was nice to just kind of take the weight of other people's emotions out of it, because that was another thing too. I mean, our family, like, experiencing the grief and loss was really difficult on us, but you know, we're our family's babies, so it was hard for them to see us like in so much pain. So I think part of me too was like self-preserving, just in case anything happened, and then also I wanted to like kind of protect my loved ones of any possible pain as well, which again, everyone's been so supportive and understanding. So we waited quite a bit of time. But what happened about a week after we found out we were pregnant is I started bleeding, which was terrible. I'm laughing now, but it was so terrible, so scary. And of course, after what I've been through, my mind just automatically was like, okay, here we go again. So that was pretty rough. And we contacted my care team, my OB, and basically they said I wasn't in any physical pain. It just was alarming, obviously, that I was bleeding. So they said, well, you can come in a couple weeks, or you could go to the hospital and they'll be able to help you like immediately with whatever you need. And again, since I wasn't in any physical pain, it felt dramatic, at least for me, to go to the hospital and go through all that, and that just did not sound fun at all. So we kind of just waited it out for 3 weeks, and essentially during those 3 weeks I was still experiencing bleeding, but I also started to feel more and more pregnant and more nauseous and just more symptoms. So I was feeling very confused. I was trying to be hopeful, but also self-preserving and trying to, you know, think of all the possibilities and kind of wrap my mind around everything. So that was a very mentally exhausting time. But at the end of the day, I just decided to fully surrender this life and just my thoughts, and try to fully trust in God and whatever his plan is and was. So I really just tried to focus on continuing to do things that brought me joy throughout the day and fill my life with life-giving things, and kind of just wait it out. But it definitely was a long month. The whole month of January just felt very long, and I kept saying to my friends, like, I'm hibernating, I'm just resting, I'm in hibernation. And I really did feel that way. I was so tired too. The first trimester, so tired, and mentally, physically. So it was a lot. And then at the end of January, we finally decided we're just gonna go to the hospital, the women's hospital in our area, because we just had to know what was going on either way. So we went to the hospital early morning in January, and basically they did a full checkup on me, and then they did a bedside ultrasound, which I'll never forget this moment, because at this point I really didn't know. And again, I was just kind of self-preserving. I didn't want to feel like, oh, fully just confident everything was going to be okay because of my past experience and stuff. So the nurse did a bedside ultrasound, and she goes, there's a tiny human. And then I go, but there's no heartbeat. And she goes, there's a heartbeat. And then just like instant tears, and just, I was overwhelmed just with joy and like relief and peace and just thankfulness. It was really surreal, and just, again, one of those really special moments. And so they did order another ultrasound, a more in-depth ultrasound with their big fancy machines to really check on the baby and see what was causing the bleeding. And crazy story about this is my mom's husband's daughter, so my stepsister, she works at the hospital. It's a radiologist. So she was the one to do our ultrasound for our baby. And this was the first ultrasound, and we hadn't even told my mom at this point. So that was really sweet. I'm not super close with her. Our parents got married when they were adults, so we never like had a very bonding experience, but this was definitely very bonding, really sweet. And we got to see our baby, some really great pictures and everything. And basically my bleeding was caused by a blood clot that thankfully they were never really worried about. It just was difficult on me. They weren't worried about the baby, thankfully, which was comforting. But yeah, it was hard to just see that, you know, and be reminded of my past experience and just get flashbacks. So it was really hard. And I definitely had moments where I was like, why, God, why is this happening after everything we went through? Can't I just have like a, you know, ethereal, whimsical, just like happy pregnancy? So that was definitely like something to wrestle with. But at the end of the day, like even after all that, I'm still so thankful for that growing experience. And a desire of mine before even trying to become pregnant or entering the motherhood journey was to not be anxious and try not to be an anxious mother, because I know like when you create this life and it's like your heart lives outside of your body, right? And you know, we live in a scary world. It's very difficult to just like let your loved ones like do their own thing and spread their wings, but I want to be that way. I want to not just be constantly worrying and constantly living in fear. So I feel like these two experiences have just led me to full surrender and like full trust and full peace, and I don't know if I would get there without these difficult times. So I am thankful even after everything. And what's so crazy, we're kind of like reliving it, which is part of the reason why I'm so emotional just telling the story, is like, you know, kind of taking back and thinking of all the thoughts. But it's so wild to me how quickly the hard parts become so minuscule. It just becomes like a blip that, you know, was just far away and a long time ago, and all of that seems like ages ago, and you know, the joy just overpowers it so immensely and so quickly, which is wild to me that that can happen just so soon. But I feel like that's a constant theme I hear with motherhood, is just the joy and just specialness of it all really starts to outweigh the difficult, and it's just one of those meaningful experiences. So I'm really thankful for that. And the night before, which I've had a lot of vivid dreams, which some of them have just been like so random and not true, but I will remember the night before we went to the hospital, I had this really beautiful dream. It was probably the most like just incredible, like warm dream I've ever dreamt. It was just us like in our bedroom. It was just such a sunny day. The light was pouring in, and we had our baby just there with us. And that was just so beautiful to have that, especially before going to the hospital. So I'm really thankful. And despite everything and despite all of these tears, I'm so thankful to feel so strong and capable, and just, yeah, I definitely feel like a lot stronger and just more equipped than ever to really tackle every stage of motherhood. And of course I feel humble, and there's still fear creeping in every so often, but I definitely feel like, again, this whole experience has been just so transformational and so special and awe-inspiring. And again, I'm just really so thankful to share it all with you. It took some time for us to tell all of our loved ones. Something that was important to me was trying to tell as many friends and family members in person as possible. Just because I love to have that intimate moment and be able to hug and just like share that news face to face. And even though it felt like we just went through this, it just, again, I want this baby to still feel so celebrated and so loved, and just, I wanted it all to feel very intentional. That was just really important to me. So I still have a few people I need to tell. So it's just taken quite a bit of time to see everybody, but we're getting there, and I'm just, again, so thankful and excited to share the news with you. I did make some notes just to make sure I covered everything, because again, it just feels like such a blur. Something that has really helped, one passage in the Bible that I've loved is Psalm 23. It's so beautiful. I highly recommend reading it over, or I have a couple songs that is the whole psalm that I love to listen to, so I'll leave those below if you'd like to give those a listen. But those were very calming for me. And some first trimester symptoms besides the bleeding that I had, one was my skin. My skin was freaking out, my chin specifically. So many little pimples popping on my chin. I also had this white, it actually went away now, but I had this white bump by my eye. I'll put the name of it because it has a name, and it actually can be a symptom of pregnancy, allegedly. That was one of my first symptoms that I noticed, or just that was kind of odd to me that I had never experienced before, really early on. But I had that little white dot, and just, yeah, my skin felt like it was going through so many changes, I think with all the hormones. And then I was nauseous quite a bit, but I only physically got sick, I want to say, like 6 times. So that was good. It wasn't like every single morning, thankfully. And my nausea was actually significantly worse at night. So it would linger all day, but at night it was definitely more intense. And I've just had so many food aversions. Like there's like 5 things I'm actually excited to eat, mostly bread and fruit. Those are my number 2 favorite things to eat. And something kind of crazy, I haven't had hot sauce in over 4 months. I have not wanted any spicy food at all. No spicy food. I mean, it still sounds good, but once I actually am like going to eat it, I don't want to eat it because I've been getting acid reflux, and anything like that seems to make it a million times worse. So I haven't had any hot sauce, which typically I go through like a bottle of hot sauce a week, so it's very out of character. And just like, even when I make my eggs in the morning, I used to do like, oh, a bunch of red pepper flakes, a bunch of cracked pepper, but now I just have them plain, absolutely nothing on it. Just everything bland has been what I've been drawn to, and like creamy stuff. So that's been interesting. And those are like the top 3, I feel like, symptoms I've experienced. But we're well into our 2nd trimester now, and definitely getting a lot more energy, and the nausea has gone down. I still am experiencing those aversions. Like I'm still not gonna have hot sauce or anything like that, but overall I have a bit more appetite, which is good. And I feel like I'm just so excited. Like I want to start nesting and doing all the things, and just really yeah, just home projects have sound really appealing to sort of make everything cozy for our baby. And it's just so interesting too how being pregnant has made me so reflective, so introspective, and just wanting to create like the best possible situation for this life to enter Earthside and just enter our home and family. It just makes you want to make everything so special and put together for them. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I cannot believe I cried that whole video pretty much, but clearly it's an emotional yet beautiful journey. And again, I just feel so grateful. Even that feels like an understatement saying that. And I'm just so thankful, like, to have this place and to enjoy this so much and feel safe to share all the details with you. And just, it's definitely intimate, you know, and it cuts deep, but I'm just so thankful for you, and I hope that you are well, and I'm excited to share bits of this journey with you and all that is to come. And again, just really grateful, and I'm excited to see you next. Bye.